Welcome to another edition of Scott on Security. As you can see, we have some guests into the studio today. This is Mo and Miles from home. They're the guard dogs of the office, the mascots. Actually, it's not here every day. They're going for grooming today. But it did remind me of, an analogy that I once heard that makes a whole lot of sense. When we think of our homes or our businesses, how do we secure those? Right? Well, we put doors and windows on them. Then we put locks on those doors and windows. And depending on what type of valuables we have inside, we may put a fence around them, maybe some barbed wire, maybe you've got motion detection here. I'm going to put you little guys back down. They're looking to get down. Yeah, you may put those motion detectors in. Maybe you've got a company that's monitoring, alarming. Someone breaks in, the big alarm goes off. Maybe your fallback defense is to have some dogs. Maybe not little Pomeranians. By the way, my family, a little bit crazy. We are dog people. So beyond Mo and Miles, the little Poms, we've actually got a Rottweiler and a German Shepherd at home too. So best of luck breaking into our place. Anyway, so you might have a baseball bat. You've got your insurance policy. You've got the police to call back. You've got all these multiple layers of defense to protect your home and your business. There's probably a lot of other layers that I've left out. Well, you got to think that way about your company data, your personal data, your computers. Because look, you're in a castle and you're up on top and you've got to look out and you've got to be looking for all the threats that are coming at it. And the bad guys have just got to find one crack, one way in, and they're into your business. And law enforcement tells us, on average, the bad guys are in there 200 days looking around, doing their nefarious deeds before they're discovered, either because of a police investigation elsewhere. I think I've told the story in the past about a local company who had been hacked, and the bad guys have been actually using their in-house server to host child pornography out to the world. Business had no idea. The other way that they're doing this is they'll get in, they'll steal your data, and then they'll ransomware you. I mean, there's so many different things, but 200 days is a long time to have a bad guy inside your house. Would you want a bad guy inside your physical building for 200 days? Your house? No, of course not. It's crazy. So what layers of defense are you putting in place to protect your computer or your business? Right? The days of just having a firewall and antivirus are over. Those just can't protect you anymore. You have to have a multi-layered approach, a defense around that. With our clients, we're using what's called a UTM. And this is another crazy thing about my industry. We keep coming up with all these abbreviations. UTM just stands for Universal Threat Management System. It's like a firewall on steroids. It will also do content filtering. It'll have intrusion detection and prevention to try to keep the bad guys out. Behind that, we'll be running advanced endpoint protection. Then we got breach detection, staff education, because the number one way bad guys are getting in is they're tricking us. They're fooling us. We're clicking on links we shouldn't. They're using emotions against us. But I digress. The whole point of today's story was to give that analogy. We do multiple things to protect our homes, to protect our businesses, to protect that is dear to us. Isn't our data and our computer systems as important? Because let's face it, someone breaks into your office, yeah, it's not good. They're going to steal some physical stuff, but insurance will get that back for you. Can you replace your data that easily? Can you survive being down for days while you're doing this recovery? Because hey, even if you got a great backup system, you got a rock solid. But if you've got a lot of data, it's going to take time to get that stuff from backup and get it back in place. Yes, it's definitely one of the layers that you should have in place, a solid business continuity plan and backup, but it shouldn't be your only plan. You got to try to keep these guys out and gals. You got to keep the cyber criminals. Let's go with that. Let's be generic. Got to keep those cyber criminals out of the network as much as possible, or detect them as quickly as possible to shut down the opportunities that they have to do bad things. Well, thank you very much for joining me for another edition of Scott on Security. I'm Scott Beck. And we will talk to you tomorrow. And as I like to say, stay safe out there.